Here's another problem that involves implicit differentiation, and I know it's implicit differentiation because I've got a y on the inside of the sign. I also have on the right hand side x times y, and so this situation tells me that I'm going to have to use implicit differentiation. So what that means is anytime that I work this out, I'm going to have to multiply my derivative of the y by dy dx when I take my derivative. Okay. Also notice that x times y is product rule. Okay. Sometimes that one can sneak past us. Well, the derivative of x is 1. The derivative of sine y is cosine y. Okay. Derivative of sine is cosine. Keep the inside the same. Don't change it. And then multiply by what's on the inside. In this case, that's dy dx. And that's equal to the product rule now. So xy, the first times the derivative of the second, so x times dy dx. Okay, and when we work that out, that's going to be plus the first times the derivative of the first times the second, which is just going to be 1 times y. So this is kind of how my setup looks, and what I'm going to do is get everything that doesn't have dy dx on one side of the equation, get everything with dy dx on the other. And I chose on this particular one to subtract x dy dx from both sides. You could just as easily have subtracted cosine y dy dx. It doesn't matter which way you go. We just need to get the dx dy all alone. Okay. Well, once cosine y dy dx minus x dy dx is together on the left, and the y minus 1 is together on the right, I can factor out the dy dx. And I can factor out dy dx because it's in both pieces on that left-hand side. And once I do that, I can divide my equation by cosine y minus x. So the derivative of my original equation then, the dy dx, is equal to y minus 1 over cosine y minus x. Now, the way that this problem set itself up, we could have also the exact opposite of this, which would make it 1 minus y and x minus cosine y. And we could have that because we could have moved the cosine y to the right instead of the x to the left. Okay, so that's how you use implicit differentiation with a product rule in there to find the derivative of an equation.